Okay, the next part of what this game is going to be, if you think about it, the parallax, that's going to be our, we'll call it like our navigation. It's what's going to get us either to the levels or to the different areas. But now we need to kind of add where the scoring is going to be in the actual game element, right? And what I want to do with this is actually keep it relatively simple. Everything we've done before, I'm just going to add a little something different and maybe just in a different order sequence just so you can see what's happening. So what I'm going to do is add a couple items on the stage to act as sort of like the bad guys, the enemy, whatever you want to call it. I'll keep to my sports theme here. I'm not going to do shape. I'll do pictures. So I'm going to grab the football again, put that on stage. Yeah, just like that. And then I'm going to add another picture. And I'll do the soccer ball. And what I want these to do is kind of just be flopping about the stage here as things that need to be dodged or what have you as the player kind of navigates through this. So you do that by adding an animation, and we're going to actually do a custom motion path versus anything that we've done before. So I'm going to click on Add Motion Path, and now you have your choice. You can do a line, arcs, all of those things. You can even do some of these predetermined ones. But we're just going to go ahead and do Curve. And you click on your item, and you just kind of bend and go, and bend and go, and bend and go, and bend and go. When you're done, you just double click, and there you go. Starts up here, ends down here. Now, I want to show you quick that it's all about timing. So when I click on this, it's going to have a duration of 2 seconds, and you see that my slide has a duration of 5 seconds. So when I preview this slide, it's like, hey, there's the football, there's the, whoa. So it's not very game-like as a matter of dodging that because it's, I mean, heck, it's not even part of it. So you want to add, maybe put this up there about 12, maybe 10 or 12. Let's do 10, double up the seconds. And then we can add, do we want to do anything here? We could do the speed, we'll do medium's fine. I don't know why we would do it balance, but whatever, everything's fine. So now when I preview this slide, you can see just it's a little bit more pragmatic when it plops on here, though. It looks, whoa, 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 whoa. Yeah. And then it just stops, which is okay. But because this is a game and because it's some sort of repetitive atmosphere, we want that to loop, right? So we want this thing to not just sit here, but when it's time to go back up here and start again. And now with some of the new things that are happening, we can actually do that. So our code, when you go ahead and make a custom animation, it adds that over here. It says move, picture, curve, so it tells you everything that you did as you were just making selections up here. But what we can do now is duplicate that. And now we can say we still want it to move, we still want the picture one, I didn't label it, darn it, the football to move on that path. But now we don't want it to do it when timeline starts because that's what initiates it. We want to do it when the animation completes. And now it's going to ask us, well, what animation? And of course it's going to be the animation that we've created here in the football. And then you just pick the animation that is associated with the football. So first thing I'm going to do is say OK, and come down here and say football. And then once I have that on there, I will test it. And now you can see when it comes on very slowly, very slowly, very slowly, very slowly, very slowly. And now instead of sitting here, it'll come back up and start again. So that's just a tricky way to kind of get this thing to loop. And of course, we're going to want to do the same thing here to the soccer ball. So I'm just going to say add motion. Pick curve again and just start curving it about here. And end down here. Double click. There we go. And same difference. Name the darn thing so we know what we're talking about. And I'm going to duplicate the already created. So move, football, move, soccer. But instead of timeline starts, I'm going to say animation completes, and I'll pick the animation. Right? So now I'm going to do that. Almost forgot. Plop that up to, I'll make that go a little faster, maybe 12 this time. Let's see, excuse me, slower. So now when I preview the slide, you can see that I have all kinds of, oh boy, oh look out, oh boy. And then they'll both kind of settle and start, settle and start. So there you have it. You can imagine what you could do with this if you were doing some sort of game at the moment. So now I'm going to close that and quickly just going to clean this up. So I'm just going to show you a shape in there. This is my grass. Okay, we're good. So now let's add some further game elements to this. We want to be able to drag, say, a character across this screen while avoiding our flying objects and get to the goal at the end, right? So to do that, I'm just going to plop in a character here. I'm going to go classic. No, I can't go classic. I guess it should be one of our guys, right? Ruben's here. I have Ruben facing this way, and what exciting poses could Ruben do? None. Here he is. Maybe we'll do this when he's excited. So we got Ruben on here. Put him on the stage. Here, Ruben. And then we'll have him drag onto something. I think I have another picture left. We'll use the tennis racket here. Whoa. It's quite large. So there we go. Kind of add a little something to that. So now we're just going to say, here's the goal. You're going to have to grab Ruben, dodge all these flying sporting things, and get to your tennis racket. Okay? And we do that by simply naming our character, right? Ruben. And our goal, I'm going to call it goal, actually. And now we're going to say, hey, drag him, drop him here, see what happens. So, wait a minute. What is our end game here is what you're thinking. Why don't we score some points? Let's make a variable. We know how to do that. We're going to make a variable called score. And I think I'm going to do number. I'm going to set it to 0. Okay. And I'll put it on stage here. So Command T for text box and then insert reference score. And we'll put a nice little score box up here in one moment. Just grab the shit. Just to make this look official, you know, like a full-fledged game. Oh, wait, you know what? That was dumb. Let me delete that. And I'll just go ahead and put my reference right in my shape. Alright, cool. So now what we can say is, how about we say, we drag our character, he gets his racket, and we score 100 points. So all we have to do is say, adjust a variable. The variable that we're going to adjust is score, right? And we want to add a value of 100, not when the timeline starts, but when the object is dropped on, way down here at the bottom. I hope you can see that. And now we have to pick, what is the object that we're going to be dragging? That's Ruben. And then what do you want it to drop on? And that is our goal. So now I say OK. And quite simply, when I preview this, Ruben's excited, you could tell. Oh my goodness gracious, dodge that. Oh, look out. Oh, whoa. 100 points for me. Yay. Okay, but that wasn't, there's no consequences really, right? I just drag him across and off he goes. So what I'm going to do is, I'm actually going to give him a nice little animation as well. What I'm going to do is say, basically, if you get your racket, you get 100 points. But if you, by any way, shape, or form, intersect with either the football or the soccer ball, you lose points. Dun, dun, dun. So we go ahead, we're going to say, adjust variable, and it's going to be score, right? So it's going to be the same variable, score. But this time I'm going to say subtract. I'm going to say a value of, let's just say 5. No, yeah, 5. But this is awesome. So this is where we get to pick object intersects, right? So when we pick object intersects, it's the same thing as a drag and drop. We're saying, well, what object? I'm going to say Ruben. And I'm going to go ahead and now click any object that he intersects with. I'm going to lose points. So I'm going to say football and soccer ball. Okay? So there you see this over here. Subtract 5 points from the variable score when the shape, which would be Ruben at this point, intersects with the football or the soccer ball. So here we go. Nervous. Ruben's excited. He's getting ready. Oh no! Oh no! Losing all these points. Jeez, oh man. That is actually a lot of points to lose. I don't know why it was that rapid. So just, whoa! Look out, look out, look out, look out. Look out. Oh, oh. Darn it. There we go. You get the point, huh? You can see how you could make a really neat game with this. The learning, we'll get into that part later. But for now, there you have it. Wait, you know what? Let's do this, please. Let's add insert shape. I'm going to add a star. How about that? I'm going to have that star. Of course, it's going to be a yellow star. I'm going to have that enter the stage, so I'm going to give it an animation. Load in, nothing special. I'm going to give it some delay, so I'm going to wait for it to pull in for a little bit. And then I'm going to add a layer. And I'm going to call this question. Question. And I'll add a question, so insert shape. Boom. I'm not going to get too fancy for this, but what time is it? Then you decide. So nothing too fancy, but just something enough to kind of get us in the right direction. Just to see we're learning that actually probably occur on this thing. There we go. And I'll go ahead, as I always do, put animation on that. Boom, animation, fly in from over here. And what I'm also going to do is double click and get the layer properties and say that I want to pause the timeline of the base layer, right? So all those silly things that are happening. And that's about it. If I pause it, that should do it. So I'm going to hit close. And of course I need to hit a close button here, right? So I'll put another button up here and say close. And when I close that, all I'm going to do is, I think I should just have to hide the layer. Everything else would be default. So let's see what happens. Basically what I'm going to say now is if I drag and I chase after that star, then my question will come up and I can get points or something along those lines. I don't know. I just want to show you how this goes. So this is going to be called star, and of course it's Ruben. So now I can add another one and say show layer question when where's drag? Where's drag? Item dragged over. Let's do that. And then the item is going to be Ruben, but the other part is going to be the star. So now our game is basically you get 100 points if you get the racket, but then lose points if you get that, but then you have to both. Oh. So everything paused. You see that? And now I can ask my question, get some answers, but when I hit close, we get right back at it, and I can come across and win the game. So there you have it. Keeping score, dodging elements, getting drag and dropped, asking questions. You can see that our game is kind of on its way to being something pretty neat.